Well, hello and welcome to the kitchen of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays from Gary Goldschneider and Eustace Elfers for October 27th, the day of Impulse. And here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the day of Impulse. We have us what looks to be a frog in the midst of swimming. Now, I couldn't help but notice on the opposing page, there's also a picture of your sign, the scorpion there. The frog and the scorpion. He's swimming over there towards the scorpion now. Hey, you know what? That might not be something that they intended there to be on the page, but hey, you can't help but make the connotation. If and you know, right about that Aesop's fable there. I think that's what it is. In any event, hey, let's get away from that. What does the visual representational image have to say about your birthday, a swimming frog? Who's to say? Maybe nothing at all. It's just something that they put in there. A frog swimming on impulse, if you like. In any event, it's not altogether all that important. Because in the scheme of things, what is important is it's your birthday today. That's right. Ostensibly, that's why you're here. And so if you are here for your birthday, October 27th, I just want to say happy birthday. That's what's important. That's why I'm here, to wish you a happy birthday. But if you find this late, as sometimes is often the case, days, weeks, months, whatever it may be, well, I just hope you had a happy birthday. All right, enough of me rattling on about the visual representational image. Now let's do something we like to do around these here parts before we get into the read, and that's roll some dice. It is the DykASSt or birthday broadcast, so we got to live up to the namesake, but more importantly, we do it for synchronicity's sake. And oh, how about this? We rolled us some doubles, a 6 and a 6 for a 12. Straight to jail, that's right. Now, what is synchronicity, you're probably wondering? Well, it's just you getting out in the world and letting you see that the universe is with you on your path. And a lot of times it doesn't feel like it is, or maybe you've never necessarily experienced what you would consider the universe being behind you. And this is just a way to get out there and see, taste, touch, feel the magic of that experience, or help you kind of reconcile that might just be the case, even if you don't believe in it. So how do you get out there and do that? Well, maybe get your own set of dice. You don't just have to go with the numbers that I rolled for you. You 6 and you 6 for a 12. You could roll your own. Get that agreed upon number between you and the universe, and then you ascribe directional values to number sets, so you can roll the dice and see which direction you're going in. And then you also roll the dice for your times, how long to go in those directions. So let's say you just, you got to go to university in the morning, right? You're going to school, let's say, and oh, hey, look at that. I've got 12 minutes free before class starts out. So you roll the dice, okay, I got to go in this direction, right? Well, hey, it just so happens that's kind of on the way, right? And then you roll 3 minutes. Let's say you roll some 3 minutes, right? So you walk for 3 minutes. At the end of that time limit, you stop and you find yourself, I don't know, let's say you're in front of a Quickie Mart. Well, hey, how about that? Well, so just go on in, right? See what you see. You got some time to burn before class, right? Another like 6 minutes or something. Well, hey, you know what? I'm a little thirsty. I need a little bit of a pick-me-up, and you head on over to the coffee. But what's this? I don't know. I'm not really feeling a coffee. Well, let the universe decide yes and no on a coffee, like an even number for yes, an odd number for no. You roll it down there, and hey, what do you know? You get a 12. It's an odd. Hey, or it's an even rather. No coffee. All right. Well, and maybe about this time, I don't know, maybe there's a shift change behind the desk there. The guy or the gal that's operating the counter, if you like. So you head over, you get a drink, maybe an energy drink, right? And you go on up to the counter there, and the person says, hey, how you doing today? Oh, just fine. And he goes, you going to class? And you're like, well, I am, but I'm just kind of doing this little synchronicity type thing. He goes, what's that? And he goes, well, it's my birthday today, and this guy, you should maybe show him the video, right? And he's like, you know what? It's my birthday too. And you're like, how about that for synchronicity? If you hadn't got to the coffee machine and rolled the dice to figure out whether or not you're going to get a coffee or not, you wouldn't have had the time to have that shift change in there. Maybe you would have got the coffee, gone up, met the other individual, and maybe they would have been some kind of gloomy Gus or something. But maybe that person's birthday, and you know what? Every time you go to school, maybe you drop into that same Quickie Mart because you made a friend. You share a certain kind of something, right? Not only just because it's your birthday, but because you guys met kind of on a kismet way, right? So anyway, that's just kind of, I know some of you probably say coincidence there, but hey, you know what? Don't poo-poo it. Maybe there's something to it. You liking the rhyme. Anyway, I think you get the idea. You're rolling your dice, getting out there, you're looking for signs. Maybe you're meeting folks, letting the magic happen. Taste, touch, see, and feel. That's right. And when you do, you'll understand why I brought it up. Any event, hey, let's get into the read. I think you understand. Your month is October, your day the 27th, your sign is 3 to 5 degrees Scorpio of the Scorpio I period specifically, and your quality and element is fixed water. All right, October 27th, the day of impulse. The forceful individuals born on October 27 have dynamic and impulsive characters. Their fiery feelings can be expressed within a wide emotional range, from the sunny goodwill of a fun-loving spirit to the brooding intensity of a dark passion. Not surprisingly, those born on this day are capable of great mood swings. It is extremely important that they learn to direct their emotional nature, for if allowed to turn negative, it can cause great destruction, and most often to their own life and their work. The October 27th individual in whom the dark side predominates, the introvert, is often prone to escapism, depression, and self-destructive impulses. The latter two factors particularly dangerous because they can materialize so quickly and are thus difficult for loved ones to prevent. The sunnier type of person born on this day, the extrovert, directs energy outward, developing and encouraging friends and associates, as well as constructively improving their environment. Both types, however, have great creative energy, albeit sporadic, which enlivens their work. And because many October 27 people wish to give the impression of rock-solid dependability, they tend to ignore their own sensitivity. Their impressive exterior may well hide a surprisingly fragile psyche. The danger here is that they will push themselves beyond their limits and chance suffering a breakdown. October 27 people display a great need for approval and affectionate support from friends and from family. And it could be said that the devotion of others is a paramount importance to them. However, those born on this day can be skillful manipulators of the feelings of those close to them as well, and capable of both projecting powerful emotional impulses outward and of withholding approval. And those born on October 27th are the kinds of people who can cause emotional shock waves and changes of vibrational states just by their presence, by a glance, and even by their thoughts. And they must be particularly careful of possessiveness and jealousy on the one hand, and a neglectful distancing on the other. It is crucial that they recognize how influential and powerful they can be, since many operate almost entirely on an unconscious level, unaware of how they are impacting on others. And this is particularly true regarding those to whom they have responsibilities or interdependencies, to say children, mates, parents, close friends, colleagues, or employees. Well, all right. How about that for the particularly dynamic, if not volatile, birthday breakdown? Sometimes these things have a little bit of a negative lean or a positive lean, or sometimes it's just a whole mix. And this one it seems largely negative, if you ask me. But you know what? That's just kind of surface level. I would say they gave you some of the answers on how to reconcile those negative aspects, because there was also positives in there too. But in any event, hey, let's get into some notes. I like to provide a little bit of a commentary. I'm getting ahead of myself there, ostensibly. All right, October 27th, the day of impulse. Let's get to it here. Forceful individuals with dynamic and impulsive characters. I say they had a strong and otherwise enduring description at the top of this thing. The reading continues with its novelization, if you like, claiming that their fiery feelings are expressed through an expansive emotional range from sunny goodwill of a fun-loving spirit. Like I said, they just kind of novelized this thing. A lot of prose. But then it vacillates into a brooding intensity of dark passion. All right? Can't say I've seen that in a person before, or that I would know it if I saw it. But it makes me wonder if you would see or perceive it of yourself. All right, assuming it even applies. But maybe look in the mirror, see if you see that brooding, what do you call it, dark passion. I don't know what dark passion even is, but it's an interesting note of the novelization there. That said, as it would correspondingly seem, the reading claims that you're capable of great swings of mood, right? And can cause great destruction to life and career if allowed to go negative. So, what does that mean to me? Mean to you? Don't go negative. That's right. Avoid it like the plague, all right? The introverted types born on this day are said to be those with whom the darker side resides, all right? And besides the sunnier side, the extrovert folks who have the sunny disposition, if you like. And all told, I hope that isn't the case, that dynamic is what exists. Because, first of all, it doesn't speak to the mood swings they talked about. It's more of a, what do you call it? A delineation between the two. I thought they said, there was a mood swing type thing. Who's to say? Maybe it's kind of like exists in both of them, but to different degrees. In any event, what else do we have to say here? I like that they mentioned this warning to look ahead for breakdowns or disaster within the introverted, gloomy Gus type, if you like, because they said it can get out of hand before you know it, before you maybe even realize there's an issue. So yeah, be sure if you're that individual that maybe you tell folks about it, like, hey, listen, I can't predict this happening, but it might be on the horizon. I don't know. Get ahead of it yourself, right? Any of it. What else we have here? If it can materialize quickly, regardless to who it may pertain. I also wrote here. But here's the good news, all right? Regardless your type, however, is your great capacity for creative energy, all right? That enlivens your work, it said in the reading. But I understand this sporadic element they also mentioned for sure. Sometimes the energy's just not there, right? The reading also goes on to describe wishing to be dependable, that solid rock for everybody, but ignoring sensitivity and hiding a fragile psyche, and a need for approval and support, and a capacity to project powerful emotions, but also being withholding of approval, skillful manipulators, and having the ability to change the vibrational state with their very presence and even their thought process, all right? That seemingly otherworldly influence aside, just remember who wished you a happy birthday. That's right. I don't want to get on nobody's bad side, especially if you got those powers there, all right? Let's see, what else here? And don't abuse your gifts if you can, because you know what? They are gifts. Don't look at them as something to poo-poo, all right? You got something there for yourself. It's just, it's volatile, all right? So you need to figure out how to channel that. That's the work you got put in, I would argue. We all have our own struggles and stuff. Yours might just be heightened to a certain extent, if in any of this applies. All right, so that's been the birthday breakdown. Let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. All right, let's get into it. Those born on the 27th of the month are ruled by the number 9, as 2 plus 7 equals 9, and by the planet Mars. All right, the number 9 is powerful in its influence on other numbers, as any number added to 9 yields that number, e.g. 5 plus 9 equals 14, and 1 plus 4 equals 5. And any number multiplied by 9 yields a 9. All right, so 9 times 5 equals 45, and 4 plus 5 equals 9. And as mentioned above, October 27 people are similarly influential. It said you were really influential. You could change the dynamics there. The planet Mars is forceful and aggressive, and its energy is doubly intense on October 27 because of Mars's co-rulership of Scorpio with Pluto. And this October 27 people can carry heightened Martian characteristics, to say aggressiveness, dynamic, and impulsive behavior, as well as in irresistible and unavoidably dark qualities of Pluto, all right? Particularly in areas of money, sex, and power. All right. Your numbers and your planets. What did I have to say here? The number 9 and the dual Mars rulership. All right. For that god of war energy and the influential math, male energy, if you like. Not so much as said here, quite honestly, but they do dive into the characteristics and its causes, this aggressiveness and this forcefulness and this impulsiveness, if you like, from the Pluto. And Pluto doesn't really bear its soul here, or bear its influence, rather, very often. So you got that little bit of individual, what do you call it, uniqueness going on there for you. A lot of you and the other Scorpios, apparently. But this is an overly interesting aspect to all of this in that it's a largely original entry, barring the maths aspect. They always throw that in there with the number 9. So your day and dynamic is so unique that it merits falling outside the authors being able to do a copy-paste job on the numbers and planets, all right? I think that's something to take away from it. So even if not much was said, I think that's something to take away here. A lot of folks don't get even that. So just be, what else do I have here? Just be aware of that money, sex, and power influence there. Don't let that stuff influence you too much, all right? It can get away from you easy, I would argue. All right, hey, with your numbers and your planets in the can, as it were, let's move on to your tarot card. All right, the tarot, one of the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical ideologies, at least by my mind. But hey, we don't got to take it home with us and start dealing out the cards, influence our every whim and flight of fancies. But it's your birthday. Let's see what it has to say. Maybe there's some correlation. Maybe we find out what the frog's all about. Probably not, but let's see. Your tarot, the 9th card of the tarot, of tarot's major arcana, is the Hermit, who is usually depicted walking with a lantern and a stick, and he represents meditation, isolation, and quietude. The card also signifies crystallized wisdom and practiced discipline. The Hermit is a taskmaster who motivates by conscience and guides others on their path. The positive side of this card is a stick-to-itiveness, purpose, profundity, and concentration. The negative qualities include dogmatism, intolerance, mistrust, and discouragement. All right, I mentioned the copy-paste job with the numbers and planets. The tarot was 100% a copy-paste job. It's what they always say for the Hermit, but hey, let's dive into it regardless. The Hermit for crystallized wisdom, all right, and practiced discipline, all right, a taskmaster who motivates with conscience and he guides others on their path, all right? You may not think this applies, but it might just be because you're not drilling down on it. You haven't realized that that could be a very real part of your life, ostensibly, right? But I would say wisdom is more than likely the most definitely to be had from someone who experiences life from such a heightened emotional perspective, if you like, from that impulse, all right? Just think of all the experiences you're getting because of that emotional filter, if it exists, all right? Things that you experience, take in, are just going to be at a higher level than other folks. And then what results from that? How do you get out there and affect the world from the root of those particular influences? There's wisdom to be had from that is going to be different from other folks. So there's value in that, all right? Don't poo-poo your own experience, all right? Your own journey. Let's see what else I have. Yeah, a lot of that emotional stuff is often seen as volatile and an even negative characteristic. But I think the way you process the world and life in a way that others don't is going to... I'd argue that it adds that creative value that it said you have sporadically, right? At the very least. And perhaps that's a fair part of the reason that you have that sporadic energy to begin with, right? Dealing with the daily reconciliation of those impulses, right? How it affects you. So again, don't poo-poo what comes down the line for you, right? Assuming all these things apply to you. These interesting and influential dynamics. What else do I have to say here? Let it live and get what you can from it. It's the cards you were dealt, right? So you gotta play them if you like. All right, hey, that's been your tarot. Hopefully I elevated the Hermit a little bit, added some value to it. Let's move on to your health. All right, your health. Those born on October 27 expend great impulsive energy, which can leave them exhausted. All right, and they may need long periods of time to recover from intense or dynamic experience, including negative ones like illness. And for those born on this day, particularly, physical signs and symptoms should not be ignored, but heeded, diagnosed, and treated properly. And if October 27th people have suffered excessive rejection, painful loss of a loved one, particularly at an early age, it says, or stormy love affairs, they may be prone to depressions. On October 27th, people should keep busy during fallow periods. Vigorous physical exercise favoring the accomplishment of objective goals is recommended, but competitive sports should generally be avoided, it says. All right, hey, what do I have to say about your health here? Let's find it. Expend great impulsive energy, which can leave you exhausted and require long periods of recovery time. All right. Physical signs should be addressed. Vigorous exercise encouraged, keeping your mind off them fallow periods. But I'd argue figuring out a way to not expend that impulsive energy to begin with could just be the preventative measure to some of the issues you may encounter. So don't waste that energy. Find a productive way of channeling it to begin with, right? However that might be done or realized. That might be a big-ass tall order, but hey, you got to put in the work to figure out your life, right? How to address your individual issues. Maybe look into acupuncture, I wrote here. I'm not one for needles myself. Maybe you're not either, but I do just fine in there. And I'll tell you what, I'm someone that gets a blood draw. I can only do one. If they have to take another one and I get that needle the second time, boom, my body goes into full revolt. I start seeing stars and all that stuff. Start getting the sweats going, but not with the acupuncture. So don't poo-poo it if you haven't gotten in there to do it, right? It also perhaps can help you balance your energy. I found it stirs all sorts of stuff up for me in a way. But who knows? But even if you don't buy into it, hey, the placebo effect is very real. That's right. So maybe at least give it a try one of these times, especially if maybe you deal with a lot of pain. Maybe it might help you out. Any event, hey, there's your health. Let's move on to some advice. All right, your advice. Treat people with kindness and consideration as ends in themselves. Listen carefully to what they tell you and find a way to direct your energies constructively when you're not working. I think I might have said a little bit of that. All right. Let's see what I have to say here. Treat people with kindness, right? I didn't want to say anything, all right? And at several points I didn't want to say it. But yeah, there's something much more powerful and valuable in it, right? Than, say, treating people with the opposite of kindness, whatever that is. Aggressiveness with anger and such. What else I had to say? Kindness, consider how it feels getting it yourself from other people, at least when it happens. Feels great. So why not be the one who lets someone else feel great? And I know it probably feels like you're the only one doing it when you do it. And so you're like, hey, why even do it in the first place if I'm not going to get something in return? I get, maybe that's not a thought in your mind, but it's certainly a thought in my mind when the idea of being kind to folks comes up. So just, like I said, consider how it feels, but maybe just put that in the back seat, right? Maybe those folks is experiencing something, as all of us often do. Just they keep feeling that same thing too. The opposite of kindness from every direction. Hey, change it up. It feels great when you can surprise somebody, make their day. See God's face, as I like to say. Real quick aside, I was going down an aisle the other day at the Winco, just get some potato chips, and this it's like a 10-year-old kid came up, just meek as can be. And I stepped back because I hadn't made up my mind yet, and he was like, "Oh, excuse me," and I was like, "Man, don't worry about it, man, and go ahead." And I almost didn't. I just kind of did it as a off the cuff kind of thing. And he stopped and he says, "Well, thank you very much," and I go, "Oh, hey, you're welcome." And it just made me key to it. And then he was still real meek too. And he said, have a nice day. And then he left. And I was like, whoa. It made me stop and collect and realize, like, just those little things, those little interactions can just affect your day if you're open to realizing and noticing them. Because I could have just ignored the kid totally, right? A lot of times we just ignore folks who pass by us in the aisle. So, in any event, there was my aside. Kindness. All right. Let's see what else I say. Listen carefully to what they tell you. Gain insight into what might be going on. And also add your own wisdom without having to have direct experience. It's a time saver, all right? You don't need to directly experience something to get some value out of it. Just listen to what other people have to say. Maybe they went and they tried heroin, and you found out they got addicted to it. You don't need to, hey, I don't need to go try it to find out, all right? I'll take your experience as an example. I know that's probably way out there, but hey, there's how you explain what I was trying to say to you. All right, direct your energy. Sounds to me you have energies in reserve, all right? Mental, psychic, whatever, all right? Without a purpose is the point here. And they're probably crashing around inside you like uranium radiation does and just going every which way, right? So put them to productive work instead of, killing people and causing cancer, all right? If you like, or if you don't like, rather. Analogy notwithstanding. All right, hey, that's been your advice. That's been a couple segues there. Me seeing God's face, if you like. The little kid coming up, all meek as can be. That's the other thing. Consider the ascended master, all right? Even those people out here who are just complete jerks, right? And they're ruining everybody else's day. They might just be put on this earth to test everyone else. And, so consider the ascended master. Maybe they're an ascended master. And how you respond to them being a jerk is going to influence, there's a lesson to be had there. I don't know. See if you can search that. The Ascended Master. Consider the Ascended Master. All right. Enough with your advice. Let's take the energy down and dive in with your meditation. All right. I think I just raised the energy there for a second. Your meditation. The human spirit knows no bounds. All right. All right. So once more. The human spirit knows no bounds. All right, there's your meditation. It's your birthday, your meditation. I'm not going to throw a spin on it or my interpretation on it. That's just for you. All right, with your meditation in the can, as it were, let's move on to your strengths and your weaknesses. Oh, all right, let's do the work. Let's do more of the work. That's why we're here, not just to wish you happy birthday, to do some of the work. All right, your strengths. Can you guess them? You're alive, all right? You're energetic, and you're powerful. My Lord, those are some good ones. They all seem like they're kind of in the same vein. But hey, you know what? Don't poo-poo it, all right? All right, your strengths. Now, let's do the hard work here. We can hear our strengths all day, right? We might not agree with them, right? But all earnest, just take the compliment. Learn to take the compliment. All right, your strengths, your weaknesses. Can you guess? You're depressive. Ooh, you're jealous. And you're self-destructive. Ooh, don't be self-destructive. Hey, look, all of those are things you can improve upon. Hey, it might be a steep road to get up there, but one foot in front of the other, all right? Just get out of bed, all right? Get in there, get a shower. And if that's all you do for the day, you know what? Little successes. You could have laid in bed all day and felt like a sad sack otherwise. But at least you did put in the effort to roll out of bed and get in a shower. Not be a complete sad sack. That's right. Okay, any event. Those have been your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's move on to those born on this day. And with those born on this day, I like to not only see who shares your company, but look at it in a different kind of way, as an opportunity to figure out your passions, assuming you don't have any or you can't figure them out. And I say that because all too often in life, I get out there and meet folks and ask them what they do, and more importantly, if they like it. And a lot of times they don't. And who can blame them? You get out of school, you got to get a job just so you can keep a roof over your head and keep food on the table. So you get right into the first thing that you can to make that happen. And you know what? You probably work your way up the ranks in that job that you got no particular regard for. Because you know what? It's easy, right? But at the same time, you don't have the time to put in the work to get another one. Or more importantly, to figure out what you want to do with your life, right? Besides all of that. And so I think this is the perfect opportunity to not only maybe ask that question of ourselves, but take some inspiration from other folks who ostensibly, put their stamp on the cultural zeitgeist, right? Or got fame, found that place in the book. But I think you get the idea. So let's see if we can't take some insight from it. And maybe me just asking the question can help you stir up some fires to figure it out for yourself. Carve out some time to put in the work to figure it out. All right, let's get to it. And we start off strong and with some bravado with Theodore Roosevelt, the U.S. president, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and a soldier. He organized the Rough Riders, an antitrust champion. He took Panama from Colombia to build the canal. He's a national park creator, historian, and he wrote Winning of the West. And he was part of the Bull Moose Party, if I recall, when he tried to run for president a second time. Or maybe it was a third, who's to say. It was a long time ago, so I'd be forgiven for not knowing that part of my history. But I knew the Bull Moose, right? In any event, we have Niccolo Paganini, an Italian romantic violinist, composer, and the first music performance superstar, it says. We have Dylan Thomas, a Welsh poet, playwright, script, and short story writer. It also says he's an alcoholic and died at the age of 39. So relatively young, but accomplished a lot. And just use it as an example of what not to do also, all right? We also have Sylvia Plath, the poetess, writer of The Bell Jar and Suicide at 30. All right, another example of some of these more not-so-sunny folks. Use it as an example of what not to do, all right? Ruby Dee, a stage and TV actress. Maxine Hong Kingston, a novelist of The Woman Warrior. We also have Roy Lichtenstein, a pop artist. John Cleese, the British TV comedian of Fawlty Towers and Monty Python fame. Also a film actor and a writer. We have Peter Martins, American Ballet founder, director, choreographer, and dancer. We also have Mother Mary Rogers, Mary Knoll Order founder. We have H.R. Haldeman, the Nixon chief of staff and convicted Watergate felon, writer of The Ends of Power. And let me tell you something. They like to note every Watergate person, right? And it's been just like the past month and a half. It's like, were they all born in the same period? Kind of crazy. All right, we have Nanette Fabre, a comic TV film actress. Wang Jida, a Chinese sculptor. Ralph Kinnear was a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball outfielder and led the National League 7 straight years in home runs. It could be Kiner, perhaps, not Kinnear. Just one N in there. We have Robert Younger, the New York sculptor. Carlos Andreas Perez Rodriguez, a Venezuelan president. Neil Sheehan, Vietnam journalist, writer of Bright Shining Light. We have Leif Erikson, the film, TV actor. And who else do we have here? Francis Libowitz, writer of social studies. Oliver Leese, a British Army commander and 8th Army of World War II. And that has been Those Born on This Day, which essentially rounds out your birthday read, except to say your season is fall, your sign once again is Scorpio, the Scorpio 1 period specifically, and your quality and elements is fixed water. And this has been October 27th, the day of impulse. We didn't necessarily see what the frog had to do with anything, but he was swimming, and so I would say keep swimming, regardless what happens. All right. And this has been The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elfers. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description. If you're interested in diving in deeper, like the frog there, getting your own copy so you can find out about the other birthdays, the zodiac signs, all that other happiness, that's right. And it's going to help you break the ice with any parties you might decide to host if you're really sunny, that's right. If you're going to get the conversation started and the literal ice broken, if you get the hardcover, considering it's skirt, that's right. But hey, that's not what's important here. What's important here, that's right, wishing you a happy birthday, like I said at the top. Hope you have a happy birthday. That's right. But for everyone else, hey, I just want to say thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed yourself and hope to see you on your birthday read. But lest we forget your daily numbers. That's right. Get out there. Let the universe show you it's with you on your side. See, taste, touch, feel, and see the magic. I hope you do. That's right. And meet you someone else that you can take with you on your life's journey. Or, you know, who knows what else. Maybe you find some frogs on the way for a theme that's lining up. All right, I'm carrying on too long already. Happy birthday, and take care of yourselves, all right? Take care.